there are moments where I definitely look and I go, wow, this is my life. I felt like something great was going to happen, right? Like I truly believed that I could do this. I didn't know how I would have these restaurants. I didn't know where the money would come from, but I just believed. And when you take that and you add in hard work, something magnificent happens. I'm Tiffany Derry, chef, restaurateur, TV personality, and co-founder of T2D Concepts, which is based here in Dallas. I am most known for my duck fat fried chicken. It was something that I created so long ago, and now we have Roots Chicken Shack, which is home of the duck fat fried chicken. Okay, we're gonna have a little flame action. Everyone has an opinion about what Southern food should taste like, including myself, which really just means that it tastes like the way one you love, how you grew up, how your family cooked it, and they feel this emotion that comes up when they eat it, and it happens naturally. And I think great food can really do that. When I thought about like roots in general, it started with, the food and the idea of my Southern roots, right? But it became so much more when we created the company. It meant rooting ourselves in the things that matter to us the most. The restaurant is the vehicle on how we create that change. It's also the way that we make sure that everyone has a seat at the table by creating new concepts, new restaurants. We're creating opportunities for the people who work with us, but also those who hopefully maybe didn't get that opportunity before. My family's from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and Port Allen, and we grew up around food, and not like a little food, like a lot of food. Like you're not gonna walk into a Southern household and not be offered something to drink and something to eat, even after you said I'm good. And you don't want anything else, baby. My first job was at International House of Pancakes, and they said that no women were allowed in their kitchen. Now, mind you, at the time, I don't really understand. I'm like, I don't understand why not, but okay. And they said, you can be a server. And I was like, I'll take it. And one day, the manager said, can you go help in the kitchen? And I took that apron off so fast. I'm screaming orders. I have no clue what I'm doing, but I'm loud. So I started at IHOP at 15. At 16, I started managing. I worked pretty much at IHOP all the way through culinary school and beyond. I moved to Dallas for the Grotto, an Italian restaurant. Eventually, I got a call about a restaurant called Go Fish, and they wanted me to be the executive chef. I'm on the line cooking, and the maitre d' comes up and says, "But you have a phone call." I'm like, "I don't take phone calls while we're working." And she goes, "No, it's Top Chef." And then I started doing more Food Network things, and then it just kind of kept rolling. I do Bobby's Triple Threat now. For my second dish, I'm gonna do grilled short ribs.
I love what Tiffany's doing. It's gonna be delicious.
I've done The Worst Cooks in America and pretty much any show on Food Network, including MasterChef judging and representing the South. The most defining point of my chef moment would be I'm at Go Fish, and all of a sudden there are people coming into the restaurant and they're taking down all of the fixtures. The restaurant is closing, and I know nothing about it. It became like, she's on Top Chef, but her restaurant's closing down. I realized that I can't allow anyone else to be in control of my destiny, my future. I was working on a plan to open a Roots Southern table, and I'm introduced to this guy to find an investor and do all of that.
You meet Tiffany in a short period of time, there's something special.
And next thing you know, he and I are talking about, what do you want to do?
I knew that I wanted to do something with my legal skills to help create greater opportunity for others that didn't have the same opportunities I did, and that was the hospitality space. And knowing that Tiffany is pushing and driving through that and breaking those ceilings, it was an easy decision that she was the person to work with.
Sometimes you have to go roundabout of how you want to do things. And so we opened Roots Chicken Shack, and that was our first one in Plano. When we opened Roots Southern Table, I had officially been working on it for 7 years. It took 7 years, and it took me meeting Tom. It took all of the moments before, to open this restaurant.
And we're just doing like seasonal pickles?
Just like sliced prosciutto and some seasonal pickles, I think is good. Like whatever we have. P2D Concepts was really founded in how do we make a change? How do we make a difference? And that spills out into the restaurant. We talk about, like, you're a line cook now. You can't do this forever. So what's the next step? A lot of these conversations aren't things that restaurants are often talking about because you're thinking about just your business. One of the things that we're thinking about is everyone. You know, they're figuring out how to operate restaurants. They're figuring out, you know, what do we need to do to keep the whole thing in a whole successful. When you think back on young Tiff, who thought the biggest dream she could have was to have the 3 IHOPs, that same feeling never left me of wanting to have multiple restaurants. Italian food is about family recipes and honoring tradition, which to me mimic Southern. And so we're opening Radici. We talk about as a company that we are hospitality with a purpose. It's not about just growing and having 100 restaurants. It's not about just trying to have as many franchisees as we can. It's about opportunity, whether it's women, whether it's minorities. We talk about ownership because the people that can do it are doing it, and the people who can't still aren't able to do it. So how do we change that? We had to figure out how to do it without large investment groups.
So in DeSoto, they had reached out to us and said, we'd like to bring your brand to DeSoto. We said, we'd like to bring opportunity to DeSoto. And DeSoto said, we will financially support you to provide that or close that financial hurdle.
And now we're going to have a Roots Chicken Shack in DeSoto, and it will be operated by someone from within that community as well. The word iconic feels big, right? It feels almost like something it's at a far reach for me. The sweet spot is when someone can look at you and say, I'm inspired by what you're doing. I want to join you in what you're doing. Making sure that everyone is taken care of, starting from the bottom up, not just the top up. And so I hope that, you know, one day when my name is mentioned, they will say she changed the game.